The Joe Rogan Experience.
Man, I ain't no fighter, man. I'm 0-1-1 lifetime.
0-1-1. One draw? What happened with the draw?
Teacher showed up. I got in a fight. I got in a fight in the 8th grade at a Stop the Violence rally.
No.
Yeah, it's real shit. Because I figured that'd be the best place to talk shit. Because what's a better spot to talk your shit than at a Stop the Violence rally? Because presumably someone will come in and go, "Hey, man,
right?
Let's not do. We brothers." And
yeah.
Mario Brown slapped the shit out of me. Bro.
Mario Brown, where you at, Mario?
Mario Brown is Air Force retired. We're cool. We're cool to this day now. But on that day, he slapped the dog shit out of me in the gym in front of everybody.
Oh my goodness,
that's the worst. You take your L in front of everybody.
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard L.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get off on that one wrong.
Yeah, I didn't know how to fight at all until I learned how to fight. I was terrified of fights. I never was the guy who, like, I was just trying to get away from everybody because I grew up in different places. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. So I didn't grow up like with a bunch of friends where everybody knew everybody. Like, I was always the new kid.
So you always had to.
Always. And so then when I was 14, I was like, all right, fuck this. I moved to a new city, new town, and I was like, I got to learn how to fight. And so I started taking martial arts. I just became obsessed with it.
Do you teach your kids?
Yeah, I teach them, but they're not into it anymore. They were into it for a little while, but they like doing other stuff, mostly gymnastics and shit.
But are you teaching them? Did you think to take? Because I'm trying to decide with my son, how to approach self-defense.
He's 3.
He's 3. I know it's early,
but it's not a bad thing to get it to be a part of his body when he's really young. My daughter started when she was 5.
But the question becomes about teaching proper conflict resolution. Because I'm wired a little weird in the sense that I feel like because he's a black kid, he's not going to get judged the same if he throws the first punch. So I don't want him in a position where he might get expelled or some shit,
Right.
But if you got to get a motherfucker off you,
right,
go on bend that knee sideways.
Yeah,
if you got to.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about kids learning jiu-jitsu too, is they're really used to conflict. Because you have conflict in the gym all the time. Not conflict in a negative way, but where you're sparring. You slap hands and you just do it. And you go full blast. You're trying to get each other as hard as you can. And you can do that in jiu-jitsu because you're not hitting each other. You're just choking each other and getting in arm bars. And then when someone gets you, you just tap. And then you move on to the next thing. And the thing about doing that is then you're not worried about conflict. It doesn't seem as scary to you. Like for me, until I started learning martial arts, I was fucking terrified of everybody. I thought everybody was going to kick my ass. Like, fuck. It was like I'd see some dude that bullied me. I'm like, shit. And I'd go around the whole opposite way of school. I'd walk the total way around the school to get to the bus.
Oh, bro.
You know those
How
fucking
much longer was
feelings?
that?
Oh, 15 extra minutes. I didn't care.
I had to walk 20 extra minutes home if I didn't want to cut through the South Park projects. Because there was this dude, Spencer, that was always, every week, for sure, going to give me the damn business.
Oh, those people could ruin your lives.
Every week. Like, they would sit on the porch and watch me walk in the corner store and then would come up and take my fucking Annihilators and Laffy Taffys. And mind you, I've set aside lunch money. I ate less at lunch so I could eat candy and chips on the way home, and they would snatch that shit right out my hand. Only thing saved me growing up, I had a good-ass basketball goal. So all the gangbangers in the neighborhood would come to our yard to shoot ball. So I essentially learned every terrible person in my neighborhood shot ball at my house. So you can't fuck with me because then you won't be able to shoot ball.
Oh, that's nice.
So I don't know if my mom did that by design. I know she did it to keep me from going up to Powderly Park to shoot ball where, that's where all the bullshit would go down. But all the bullshit came to her house. But out of respect to my mom and my dad, like, they never started shit, and I just walk around the neighborhood perfectly fine. Now, at school, I could still get fucked with, but on the walk home, it was gravy.
That's very nice.
Once she got the basketball goal, I was good.
That's very nice. Yeah. It's hard. A kid who's really mean, who's like bullying you in high school and in junior high school, that could fuck people's whole lives up. Sometimes people never recover from that shit. It's a natural inclination that people have to fuck with someone who's scared and weak, too. Just you see it in animals, man. You see it in dogs.
Yeah, we are animals.
Yeah.
That's what we forget. We act like clothes and automobiles have civilized us. No, it's still, I'm trying to take your woman and reproduce, and I'm trying to fucking spread my genes, and I'm going to take your food. Like that's the basic of bullying is that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nature. And it forces you to overcome. Because almost every fighter that I've ever met, professional fighter, was fucked with. George St. Pierre, who's like one of the greatest of all time, told a story on the podcast about he was driving his Range Rover when he was world champion through Montreal, and he saw this homeless guy, and the homeless guy was his bully in high school. And he realized, he was like, whoa. And he's like, what's going on, man? What are you doing? And like talk to the guy and try to make amends with the guy and help him out a little bit. But it's like, fuck, man, this is his bully in high school. And you realize, like, most people that are causing pain and inflicting pain on people, they're in pain, man. That's why they're doing it. You know, it's like victims, you know, the victims of crimes oftentimes perpetrate those crimes on other people. That happens when kids get abused at home, they get beaten at home. They're the ones who want to beating kids up at school. You know, they want to dish out that violence on someone smaller than them because they're getting it dished out on them by someone larger.
So they can feel some power.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the constant victim narrative. But on the other hand, families of people that grow up that are martial artists, like all the kids know how to fight. They're the nicest, friendliest people. They don't worry about it. It's not the thing that fucks with their head. Like for me, I knew I didn't know how to fight, so it was scary. So like every time someone would fuck with me, I'd be like, oh, I gotta get away. I can't fight. I don't know what I'm doing. Some dude got me in a headlock and threw me down on the ground and was gonna punch me in the face. I'll never forget this. Like, I forget what was happening. We were talking. I said something. He said something stupid to me. I said something stupid back to him. Then he just got me in a headlock and threw me on the ground. And he held me like that. He was gonna punch me. I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just sitting there going, God damn it, I'm helpless. Locked up in a headlock with this dude on top of me going, fuck. And it's only his mercy that he didn't punch my fucking face in. Or he didn't want to get suspended or whatever. And I remember going, that's it. I'm going to learn how to fight. This is ridiculous.
Do you ever run into the people from your past who have a revisionist history on y'all's relationship?
Not too much, because the only people that I'm friends with from back then, I'm actually good friends with, that I was friends with when I was growing up. Like a couple of buddies. But most people I don't.
Most of the dicks, they never bought a ticket to your show and came up to the merch table?
By the time I was in high school, that's the only people that I still am in contact with anymore. I had already gotten balls deep in martial arts like my first year of high school. So by like halfway into high school, I was already crazy. I was already competing and traveling all over the place. And so but I do run into people that have fake stories. I run into people that tell me things that happen. Remember that time we were at a party and you kicked that dude in the head? I'm like, dude, I never kicked anybody. That never happened. 100% definitely never happened. I never went to a party and beat anybody's ass.
You
never
just
happened.
leave him with that memory, or do you correct him?
I correct him. I'm like, I never fought anybody. Some dude was telling me some story about some guy told him that one time we were on the street and some guys across the street were talking shit, and I went across the street and kicked both of them in the head. I'm like, that never happened. Never happened. I'm going to guarantee you it never happened, because the last time I was in a street fight, I was like 15. I'm like, this never happened. This is not a true story.
See, I'm the opposite, man. When people come to me with shit that I don't remember, I just let them have it. Like if that's your memory of us in college, fine. Whatever.
It's weird though, right? When you know it didn't happen, weird. When you definitely know. Like, I know for a fact I was never in any street fights outside of high school.
I had a professor from college accuse me this was in a Facebook thread of something. There's some article about me, and like all the other alumni are commenting on it. And one of the professors, I remember in 1994 when you said this thing to me in class and stormed out of class. I'm like, I didn't enroll until 96. Ooh. But I didn't say that. I literally just apologized, like, because she's clearly been mad at me all of this time about something that I didn't even do, and I'm just like, there's nothing I can say. If that's your narrative, fine. You know what? Wow. I'm sorry for the shit that I didn't do. Whatever.
Just look at Roy Wood, all peaceful and zen.
But then she replies under that, well, thank you. It means a lot, and whatever. So in my weird, arrogant brain, I've freed her of her anger or whatever the fuck it is she thought I did, but
That's very cool of you. That's a great approach.
I just don't feel like going back and forth.
That's a great approach.
It's so much easier to evade. I'm more of an evader and a schemer than a fighter. Like, I'm not going to argue with you and go back and forth, but what I will try and figure out a way to do is over the next 2 years diabolically dismantle anything you stand for and believe in. And like, that's That's my approach to think. Like, there's a comedy club owner. God is my witness. Before I die, I'm opening a comedy club across the street.
Is this in San Diego?
No. I've heard the stories.
Where is this one? Can you not tell?
It's East
Someplace-
Coast.
someplace
It's
in
East
the
Coast.
East.
It's
Okay.
one of the Carolinas.